Hello and welcome into the broadcast, everybody. I am Samuel Reese coming to you live tonight, and it is some MLS action as we get into the latter stages of the regular season. It's now or never for teams, no matter where they're standing in the league table, and it's Toronto FC hosting the New England Revolution. The league-leading New England Revolution take their first trip north of the border since March of 2020, right before the pandemic. BMO Field in Toronto, Ontario, is the location for tonight's Eastern Conference matchup, and we are ready for kickoff shortly after 8 p.m. in Toronto. And I will get into the starting lineups momentarily. It's the New England Revolution in white. They're attacking from left to right, kicking off to get things underway. And Toronto, being the home team, wearing their traditional red colors, attacking from right to left in this opening half of play. And we are underway at BMO Field in Toronto as the New England Revolution continue their pursuit of the supporter shield, which of course goes to the best team in the regular season. And the Revolution currently, I should say, leading the supporter shield standings, and they have a pretty comfortable lead at the top of the Eastern Conference standings at the moment. But if they step off the pedal for a game or a couple of games, you never know. A quick bump in the road, and the New England Revolution could be caught in the Eastern Conference. So they're looking to retain that top spot in the East down the final stretch of the season. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and just getting to the starting lineups. First, for Toronto FC, who are led by Javier Perez, it's Alexander Bono in goal as usual. Four at the back for TFC. Richie Laryea and Kamar Lawrence are the outside backs. Both of them featured at the Gold Cup. Laryea for Canada and Lawrence for Jamaica. The two center backs are Omar Gonzalez, former U.S. international player, and Eric Zavaleta. The two holding mids are defending MLS MVP Alejandro Pozuelo and Ralph Priso, fellow Canadian, as well as Laryea. And then in the midfield, we've got Marco Delgado, Jonathan Osorio, and Jefferson Soteldo. Up top, meanwhile, making his first start, the Nigerian youngster in Ufaninyachi Achara. Welcome into the broadcast, Mike. Appreciate you tuning in. For the New England Revolution, who are led by head coach Bruce Arena, it's Matt Turner, who had an incredible performance at the Gold Cup. In goal, four at the back, DeJuan Jones, who had a great week, and Brandon By, the outside backs. Henry Kessler and Andrew Farrell, the center back pairing. Arnor Tristefson, the new player that comes into the starting lineup compared to New England's last game against Philly. He, Maciel, Matt Polster, and Tejan Buchanan are in the middle of the park. And then it's the dynamic duo up top of Gustavo Bo, or La Pantera, as he's nicknamed, the Argentine, alongside the Polish player in Adam Buksa. So that's how both teams line up tonight. Toronto with the throw-in on the far side, just over 2 minutes in. Oh, that's awesome, Mike. That's awesome, man. Great that you have access to this match and the NYCFC Inter Miami match all the way from Algeria. That's great to hear. Here's Jefferson Soteldo, and Soteldo fended off by Tejan Buchanan. Great work by the Canadian youngster, who is just superb at the Gold Cup. Canada ultimately falling to Mexico in the semifinals. It'll be a goal kick for the Revs. And Matt Turner, who just stood on his head in that Gold Cup for the United States, gets ready to take the goal kick. The Revolution have four All-Stars, Turner, Buchanan, two of them, and then Bo and Carlos Gil, the other two. Carlos Gil currently out dealing with an injury, a groin injury, so we hope to see him back in a week or two. Obviously, Carlos Gil, an integral part of this New England team. Toronto also missing a star name, and that would be Ayo Akinola. He's out for the season. Sadly, tore his ACL in the Gold Cup in the game against the U.S. The Revs at BMO Field haven't found much success. A 3-6-4 record all time in this stadium. And here is Richie Laryea back for Alexander Bono. just a few weeks ago, Toronto FC and the two other Canadian teams were able to return to their actual stadiums. Toronto FC have scored 11 goals at home, 5 goals in 4 games at BMO Field. So their home ground was Orlando for the start of the season. Due to COVID, they weren't allowed to play in Canada. As this cross is whipped in, Turner's there for the Revolution. You can only imagine how difficult it was for Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, the three MLS teams, to be on the road constantly, playing their home games at stadiums in the United States. So great to see them allowed back at their home grounds. Leaping header here by Brandon Bai. Sets free Tajon Buchanan. Buchanan down the right wing, crossing to a dangerous area. And it's cut out by Omar Gonzalez as Gustavo Bo was making the near post run. Gonzalez to the rescue for TFC. It will be a Revolution corner kick coming. 5 minutes played in Toronto. And over to take the corner kick is the Icelandic player, Arnar Tristafsson. His first season with the Revolution is part of the Iceland squad that has been participating in World Cup qualifiers. And that's a back post chance. Spooks' header cleared away. And now Toronto escaped the box. Here's Alejandro Pozuelo, the Spaniard in possession. Pozuelo wide for the Canadian Osorio. Back it comes to Pozuelo. Laid off by Achara, the Nigerian. Number 99 up front for TFC. And defending here is Maciel. And that's a left-footed shot from distance. Richie Larea's effort wide. There are two American players that transitioned from MLS to Europe. You mean in the season, that the European season that just started? Like recently, are you saying? Yeah. Yep. There's Sam Vines actually on the Colorado Rapids just made a move to Royal Antwerp of Belgium as Toronto goes short on the corner kick. Now the ball finds Richie Larea. Soteldo couldn't find, rather it was Pozuelo then, couldn't find Soteldo on the return pass. And Toronto back with it. Edge of the box, Pozuelo. Pozuelo holds. And the pass deflected by Tristafsson, stolen by Gustavo Bo. And now Bo combining with Buxa. The pass down the line is cut off. The interception by Marco Delgado. Yeah, yep. No, you are correct, Mike. Yep. It's great to see a lot of Americans playing in Europe. And as you say, some MLS players making the jump to Europe. Maciel in with the challenge and the whistle blown. Free kick for Toronto. Eighth minute of play and not much complaining Maciel can do, the Brazilian. Maciel will need to be careful going forward. The referee, by the way, is Rubiel Vasquez. There was a quick free kick taken, but the referee will bring it back. Soteldo not happy that the referee is bringing it back. Soteldo, by the way, the South American player, he hails from Venezuela. And Soteldo will try again. Clipped in, and Buxa wins the header. Toronto keep it. This is Kamar Lawrence of Jamaica. And now it's passed ahead. Brandon Bai getting there first before Kamar Lawrence was able to. Achara battling for possession. And he will win his side to throw it. It's a Toronto team that have been okay in this season. New England, well, who have been okay as of late is what I meant to say. But overall in the season, it's been a struggling TFC side, one that the Revolution certainly should beat. But it could be a trap game. And speaking of that, it's a Char with the chance, and Turner made the save. The flag went up anyways. It was offside, but Turner still called into action as he made the near post stop. And yeah, Char just couldn't quite hold his run there. But he's looked dangerous early on for Toronto. The Revolution coming into this match 11 points clear of second place in the Eastern Conference, although they have played two more games than the two teams behind them in the table. 41 points for New England, 12 wins, 5 draws, 3 defeats for Toronto. It's 3 wins, 7 draws, 9 defeats. They're tied at the bottom of the table with 16 points, and they played 2 more games than Cincinnati, who are with them at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. So a lot of work for Toronto. They're currently 8 points out of a playoff position. Yeah, I know, Mike. This summer the U.S. U.S. men's national team has owned Mexico. By the way, the Revs on the road on a 3-game winning streak currently, as we played 10 minutes in Toronto. I mean, I can't argue with you saying Liga MX is still better than MLS, because it's based on the Leagues Cup and the CONCACAF Champions League. Your point is proven. For 3 out of the 4 semifinalists in the CONCACAF Champions League are from Liga MX, and Philadelphia, the lone MLS team, of course, lost the first leg to Club America 2-0, so it's not looking good for the Union. And then in the Leagues Cup, 3 out of the 4 semifinalists are from Liga MX, with Seattle being the lone MLS team in the semis. So, I mean, I can't really argue with you there. Although, Mike, I'll tell you what, MLS can make a statement I don't know if you're aware of this. The MLS All-Star game this year is pitting the MLS All-Stars against the Liga MX All-Stars. So it's the best of each league facing off. So if MLS can win that, if the MLS All-Stars can beat the Liga MX All-Stars, I think that'll certainly be a big victory for MLS. And that's in a week and a half. I'll be on the call for that match. That'll be taking place in LA. Here's Arner Tristefson for the Revs. He's dispossessed. Toronto have it back. There's a player down, meanwhile, off the ball. That was a Chara. Play continues. Here's the through ball. Richie Larea crossing, and Andrew Farrell with the clearance for the Revs. Now with it is Alejandro Pozuelo, 12th minute. It's a very young Toronto FC team. We're trying to turn around their season here, and they're running out of time to do so. Kamar Lawrence for Jefferson Soteldo. Now Ralph Priso. Toronto, as I mentioned, 15 points. That's last in the East, a 3-9-6 record. They are coming off of a 2-2 draw last week against New York City. They have been a bit better the last few weeks after an abysmal start. And now that they're back home in Toronto, I'm expecting this team to improve. Although, as I mentioned, they're without Ayo Akinola for the rest of the season. Yeah, no doubt about it, Mike, as Brandon Bai chases it down. In the end, concedes a throw-in as that ball was heading for the end line. For Toronto, on the bench, options, I should say, include Aro, Michael Bradley, Patrick Mullins as well. No Josie Altidore currently in the squad. I think it's an injury. I'm not entirely sure, as this cross is whipped in. The clearance there from Achara. It's out for a Revolution throw-in on the far side. Tajon Buchanan over to take it. Or actually, he'll leave it for his teammate. Yeah, I'm sure you are very sad that Messi left as a Barca fan, Mike. I'm sure you are. Yep, I can only imagine. Alex Bono, by the way, this season in goal for Toronto, a 3-7-6 record, exactly a 2 goals against average, and just one shutout. Not all his fault, but it has been a rough season for him, as Tejon Buchanan has it. Now it's Gustavo Bo. Bo can't get by Richie Larea. And Toronto could be on the move, although the pass to Achara broken up. Nice work by Henry Kessler. What's going on, Ventura Fredis? Welcome into the stream. Appreciate it, man. Hope all is well with you. Glad to have you on board for some Saturday night MLS action. Here's Matt Polster, who's been a steady presence in the middle of the park for the Revolution. Now that's turned over on the far side. Achara finding Pozuelo. A quarter of an hour in, and we await the first goal. Now it's sprayed wide for Soteldo. Soteldo curling towards the back post, and a crucial header from DeJuan Jones. It will be a corner on the way for TFC. You like this Revolution t-shirt? Yes, thank you, man. And look, I got a name on the back too. I got Carlos Heel on the back, so he's my favorite player for the Revs. Unfortunately, he's not. He's been out for a couple of games now with a groin injury that he suffered the other week against the New York Red Bulls. But hopefully he'll be back soon. I absolutely love Carlos Heel. He's a brilliant player, the Spaniard, and yeah, it's a comfortable t-shirt too, which I like. Yeah. Glad to finally be doing a Revs game again. As you guys know, they're my favorite MLS club. I live about 10 minutes away from Gillette Stadium. The Revs, with 40 points this season, lead the league. And it's the most points through 19 games in club history. So it's the best start in club history for the Revs. A little over halfway through it. And yeah, I'm glad I'm finally able to do a Revs game again. I go to most of their home games, and I've just been busy or whatever for some of their away games. So I try to call as many away games as I can, but I haven't been able to do one in a while, as it was Priso with the interception for Toronto FC. Now driving forward is Soteldo. Larea's cross blocked by DeJuan Jones. Will be a TFC throw-in. The Revs on the back foot a bit here on the defensive, as Toronto had a decent amount of possession in the early stages. This comes back to Zavaleta. He'll find Matt Turner. Okello, De Leon, Schaffelberg, Moro, Aro, Westberg, all options for Toronto off the bench, looking ahead of the second half. Brandon Buys sending one back to Matt Turner. I don't know, Mike, because that's what Mexican supporters do. They mock the U.S. and they make excuses for their team whenever they lose to the U.S. Yeah, it's just nonsense. They literally lost to our C team in the Gold Cup, so I don't think they can really talk that much at all. Offside called against the Revolution. Michael Bradley, the club captain for Toronto, not starting tonight. Interesting decision from Javier Perez. But we're seeing, just in the lineup put out tonight, this Toronto team are definitely trying out their young players and looking ahead of the future. And Michael Bradley has started 18 games this season, so it's definitely not common that he sits out to start a match. Brandon By with it for the Revolution. By to Tristevson. Now Bo settles, edge of the box. Bo sends it out wide. Settled by DeJuan Jones. Jones attempted cross blocked. Second crack at it. Jones with the right foot curls one in, and the header is a goal. Tajon Buchanan, an absolute beauty. 1-0 Revolution lead. The backflip in celebration. Tajon Buchanan. That is beautiful. What a header. Perfect placement. 1-0. The New England Revolution grabbed the lead. DeJuan Jones with a gorgeous ball in. And Tajon Buchanan just wanted it more than Jefferson Soteldo. Buchanan leaping up high into the air. And not only getting to this ball, but perfectly placing it. The dip on that ball off the crossbar and in. Or rather off the post and in, I should say. And it was just too far towards the corner for Alex Bono to get enough of a touch to send it wide of the goal. He did get a piece of it, but parried it off his own post and in. Tajon Buchanan strikes for the New England Revolution. And the Revolution get just the start they were looking for. Well, that is a great start for the Revs. And this season, they're 10-0-2 when scoring the first goal. So they haven't lost this season when conceding, or rather when scoring first, I should say. And we'll see if that holds true tonight. Toronto FC now playing from behind. Omar Gonzalez under pressure from Buxa. He goes back to Bono. Bono lofting it into the air. And all of a sudden, it seems like TFC are a bit rattled, and that goal has certainly given New England some necessary confidence. The momentum most definitely on their side as the foul is drawn by Kamar Lawrence. After this trip to Toronto, the Revs head back home for a contest against DC United midweek. We're seeing throughout the summer plenty of midweek MLS games. Remember, the season started about a month after it usually does. Thanks for the update, Mike. So NYCFC have taken a 1-0 lead over Inter Miami. Thanks for the info, Mike. I'm not too surprised considering Miami have just had a wretched season for the most part. And New York City, one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, currently third in the East. And I think New England NYCFC, that could very well be an Eastern Conference final matchup. Based on how both teams have played so far this season, I wouldn't doubt it, although it, of course, depends on how the bracket plays out, how the bracket's set up. That pass gets away from Larea, going back to that Revolution goal. Beautiful assist from Jones. DeJuan Jones has been fantastic the last few weeks. And then Buchanan just leaping up and enough accuracy on this header that Bono just could not keep it out. He got a piece, as I mentioned, but then it went off the post and in. Revolution lead, and Buchanan's signature backflip celebration caps off a great start for the Revs. And here they come again. Buchanan wide for Bo, but the flag is raised offside. Is the call. Yeah, it really is, Mike. It really is. Inter Miami have been a failed project. I mean, they spent so much money on getting guys like Gonzalo Higuain, Blaise Matuidi, Rodolfo Pizarro. They got Phil Neville as their head coach, and it's just been an absolute dumpster fire for Inter Miami. They have been so poor, and the Revolution actually the other week beat them 5-0. So yeah, that's been the story for Inter Miami this season. And I don't really, if they had any, um, if they didn't have, a manager like Phil Neville, just because of the name, Phil Neville, that's the only reason he's still there. If it was any other manager, he'd be gone. It's, he's still there because it's David Beckham's guy. He brought Phil Neville in to try to find success, and it's been far from it. Toronto FC, as I mentioned at the top of the telecast, have the 2020 MLS MVP on their side, Alejandro Pozuelo, Pozuelo of Spain, as we enter the 25th minute. Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel sorry for him in all honesty. I mean, I I guess I do kind of, but I just for Inter Miami, I mean David Beckham, the guy is, obviously it's not he'll be disappointed, but it's not going to affect him too much. I mean, he's filthy rich to the point where he's he can afford for Inter Miami to have, a rough season. Miami's still a great attraction, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see, Messi go there in the future in a few years' time. And, you know, David Beckham, he was in earlier this summer, he was in London for Wimbledon in the Euro final while Inter Miami were you know, struggling bad. So I don't obviously he cares about Inter Miami, but not to the point where he's there at, every game. I mean, a lot of owners these days, are pretty selfish. I'm not saying David Beckham is, but I think a bit of responsibility has to be put on him as well. What's going on, Steve O? Welcome in from the jungles of Suriname. Appreciate it, man. As Gustavo Bo's long range effort flashes wide, Criso closed him down at the last second. Yeah, you are correct. Yep. Toronto FC did almost win the CONCACAF Champions League in 2018. Yes. Um, I think they lost in penalty kicks, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. MLS clubs have come awfully close to winning CCL, but it's been heartbreak after heartbreak for a number of clubs as this is square to the back post. No one there to answer the call. Marco Delgado setting up the opportunity, and somehow, some way, there was no shot. Let's see the replay here. Soteldo was waiting. A great cut to Delgado, and the pass actually took a deflection off of Andrew Farrell. And maybe that's what threw off the opportunity. Just a step behind at that back post was Achara. Now with it is Arnar Tristevsen. This is held by Matt Polster. 1-0, Revs in front. Thanks to a header from Tajon Buchanan in minute 20. Farrell trying to play the through ball in behind, but Brandon Bai was not on the same page. Goal kick. Appreciate all of you tuning in tonight. Thrilled to cover MLS action. I haven't been able to call an MLS game in quite a bit with a busy summer of international tournaments, of course. Yeah, I've heard the same things, Mike. I'm not sure if Messi and Ronaldo would both go to Miami. One or the other certainly could end up there, and then maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see Messi to Miami, and then Ronaldo go to the LA Galaxy or something. I just can't picture both of them teaming up at Miami. But you never know. You never know. If they're both in MLS at one point, that would be just huge for the league. That would be fantastic. Pozuelo was in the box there for TFC, and the clearance away sets up a Toronto throw-in. Decent chance that. As Osorio squirted across, and it was actually Brandon Bai who came in to deny Pozuelo of a chance. Here he is on the ball. Closing in on the half-hour mark. It's now Jefferson Soteldo. Kessler can't find a teammate. And now Achara claiming for a handball. Achara going for goal. And the curling effort skims the post and ends up wide. Well, what a sequence that was. And Toronto are pleading their case for a handball here against Tajon Buchanan. You can clearly see Buchanan purposefully put his arms behind his back. So it definitely struck the arm. Wasn't in an unnatural position because he was in the motion of putting his arms behind his back when the ball struck his arm. And as the play continued, Achara came so close to finding the back of the net. But VAR with a quick check and no penalty. Goal kick. 30 minutes played north of the border. Really? I was not aware of that. If Ronaldo goes to Al Hilal and in Saudi Arabia, I mean, I'd be surprised. I mean, it's not like he needs money. I just wouldn't understand that. As Tristevson goes for the shot, and it was partially deflected by Zavaleta, and it will lead to a Revolution corner kick. And Bono clearly disagrees. Will be a set piece chance for the Revolution. But yeah, that's the right call. That's the right call. It certainly touched Zavaleta last. It's the third corner of the night for the Revolution. And the outswinging ball will come from Tristevson. Outswinging ball to the near post. Popped in the air by the head of Kamar Lawrence. And now DeJuan Jones gets there for the Revs. Jones forward to Bo. Could be a chance. Bo delivers the cross. The ball falls to Bai, but coming in to clear it was Ralph Priso. And on the follow-through, Priso was fouled by Bai. Free kick, Toronto. Well, many would consider this section or this part of the season, I should say, the dog days of the MLS season where, you're in the midst of playing a lot of games throughout these weeks in the summer where the conditions aren't favorable. The Revs, by the way, have scored 20 goals in the first half this season. That ranks first in the league. But going back to my comment, it's the middle section of the season where you could get a little bit tired and you could take your eye off the prize for a moment, and it's when a lot of teams slip up because it is a long season. It's hard to consistently play your best soccer, as this ball is floated in. And now Brandon Bai will clear it away. That's why it's been so impressive what the Revs have been able to do. They've kept on winning even through the Gold Cup when they were missing the likes of Turner and Buchanan, two of their best players. And hopefully the Revs can just continue this great run of form into the final months of the regular season. Edge of the box. Attempting the pass was Marco Delgado. Probably could have went with the shot. It was Tristevson with the clearance. A dozen minutes remaining in the opening half of play. With it now is Eric Zavaleta. What's going on? ID, appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, absolutely, man. Toronto absolutely went downhill after winning MLS Cup. I mean, they had a couple of great seasons when they met Seattle in MLS Cup two out of 3 seasons, and they were a really good team. And yeah, ever since they won MLS Cup a few years back, it's gone downhill for them, really. Yeah, I saw that, Mike. I saw that. That Nice beat Lille 4-0. That was crazy. Yeah, and the as you say, the Nice manager won the league last year with Lille. So that was quite the statement from him and his team. Yeah, that was a dominant victory for Nice. Yep, that is correct, Mike. Yeah, good read by Polster, who leapt up for the header. Buchanan can't quite get there, and now Toronto in possession. Pozuelo going wide for Soteldo. Into the middle, it's Priso. 10 minutes to go in the half. Osorio cutting inside. Now play to the middle. And out wide, it's Marco Delgado to Soteldo. Soteldo's pass broken up by Polster. Buchanan couldn't keep it, although it's won back quickly by New England. Brandon By lofts this one forward. And a towering header by Gonzalez. Buxa went down. He contested. Play continues meanwhile. It's Gustavo Bo trying to send in DeJuan Jones, but it was cut out by Zavaleta. And now play is halted as Adam Buxa remains down for the Revs. That was an aerial duel between two of the tallest players on the pitch. And yeah, Gonzalez appeared to deliver an elbow to the head. That could have easily been a foul against Omar Gonzalez. By the way, the options from the New England's bench include Bunbury, Captoon, Caldwell, Boateng, McNamara, Rivera, the youngster, as well as De La Garza, Mafla, and the backup keeper, Brad Knighton, who took Matt Turner's place, I should say, when Turner was on international duty for the United States at the Gold Cup, and did a good job overall. I meant to mention this earlier. Toronto FC, the worst team in the East, New England, the best team in the East. But in the earlier meeting between these two teams a few weeks ago, Toronto beat New England. It was a 3-2 win for TFC in a really shocking result, a very uncharacteristic performance from the Revs. That's really that game and the game against Nashville at the very beginning of the season for the Revs, the only two games in which they really played poorly. But yeah, those type of poor performances haven't come often for New England, and they conceded those 3 goals all within the first 20-25 minutes, if I remember correctly. And the Revs nearly completed a comeback in the second half. That game was in New England. Corner kick coming. Soteldo, the right foot. And Polster got a piece of it to clear for New England. Toronto back on the ball. Soteldo accelerating to the end line. Great defensive work by Brandon By. Got the shoulder in there to dispossess Soteldo, who's contributed to 6 goals, which leads the team for Toronto. He can be a real playmaker. Here's the switch. And Polster winning that ball, takes one for the team. Gonzalez committing the foul. Gonzalez is going to have to be careful. He's been involved in plenty of physical play. And another foul, and he could be in the ref's book. No bookings yet tonight. 39th minute, Matt Polster on Sunday against Philadelphia. He scored his first goal for the Revolution in the 10th minute. I was at that game. It was great combination play on that goal. And great to see Polster tally his first goal and open his scoring account with the Revolution. Here's Andrew Farrell. Farrell with the switch. It comes out on the far side with Buchanan. And Buchanan now going down. It was a clean challenge from Larea. It will be a corner for the Revs. Do I want soccer to be the number one sport in the USA? I mean, I would love for that to happen, Mike, but it's never going to. I mean, I think in 10, 20 years time, I think certainly soccer can be the third most popular sport, but in this country, but surpassing hockey and baseball. It's arguably on level terms with hockey right now, and baseball is losing popularity while soccer is gaining popularity in this country. So I think it's definitely getting more and more popular. No doubt about it. And you love to see it. But American football and basketball in this country is just huge. I mean, it is just huge, Mike. So I just don't think that that's possible for soccer to ever become the first, sport in this country. At least not in my lifetime. As Brandon By comes in with the one-time shot, sent wide of the goal. What are you asking, ID? What do I prefer, soccer in North America or Europe? Is that what you're wondering? If that's the question, I mean, that's tough to say. The Revolution, by the way, back in action Wednesday night at 7 p.m. when they take on DC United. I'll be at that game as Buxa goes for the switch. I mean, obviously Europe has better quality in their top leagues. So I love watching, the Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A. But being an American, I am a huge fan of MLS as well. As much as I enjoy European soccer, I love seeing the growth of the sport in this country. So I wouldn't say there's a preference necessarily, in all honesty. But yeah, that's an interesting question. 42nd minute of play now. Larea, not much of anywhere to go, and he eventually turns it over to DeJuan Jones. Kessler finds Andrew Farrell, who opens up. Arnar Tristafson for the Revs on Sunday against Philadelphia had three shots, which was a season high for him. No goals yet, but he's getting better, I feel like, as the season has progressed. And he gets the start tonight for a reason. Here's Gustavo Bo. Bo trying to play through Jones. Couldn't quite get it there. And now Toronto back with it. Oh, that's a turnover by Toronto. Bo finds Buxa. Buxa, patient with the ball. Under some pressure, gets it to DeJuan Jones. Now Bo. Bo turns. Well, we call it soccer here, Mike, so that's just what it is. Because football here in the U.S. is a different sport than football for everyone else. So, but yeah, I mean, I call it both. But being American, we call it soccer. So that's just how it is, man. But I just I can't. It's hard to explain to you, Mike. But like American football and basketball are just huge in this country. Like the ratings they get on TV um, are enormous. Like it's, but don't get me wrong, soccer's getting more popular in this country. Um, I just I can't see it ever eclipsing basketball or American football, which is fine, which is fine. As long as it gets, more popular in this country, more attention from, you know, ESPN and stuff, and more attention from more casual American sporting fans, I think that'll be great. Here's a great switch, and Tajon Buchanan gets there for the New England Revolution. Buchanan step over move, trying to cut it on his right, but now it's cleared away. Buchanan had plenty of options to his left. Elected to go for the shot. We're now approaching stoppage time. Brandon By will take the throw in. Buxa for Buchanan. There'll be one additional minute. Buxa runs into the wall that was Zavaleta. Here's Delgado. Wide it comes for Larea. Richie Larea into the middle. Yes, I did know that, Mike. Yep, India and Pakistan, for them, cricket is their number one sport. I will never understand the rules of cricket. I've tried watching it. I mean, the comparable to American sports is, of course, baseball, but I cricket confuses me a bit. I try to get into it, just don't really understand completely how it works, to be honest with you. Here's a chance from distance, and it's skied over the bar. Never a confident shot for Marco Delgado. And that will conclude the first half. So at BMO Field in Toronto, Canada, it's the New England Revolution in front by a 1-0, thanks to Tajon Buchanan's leaping header 20 minutes in. The Revs looking to continue their fine run of form. And here are the thoughts of head coach Bruce Arena.
Came out with a lot of energy. They need to get 3 points. They were going to be on the front foot, very aggressive, and we dealt with that early. Got a goal that's critically important, and this is a game where we're just going to have to battle for the full 90 minutes. Appreciate it, Bruce. Okay.
All right, there are the quick words of Bruce Arena at the half. Thanks for another update, Mike. So NYCFC has taken a 2-0 lead over Miami. Plenty of action elsewhere in MLS. Just about every team in the league in action today. And Tajon Buchanan's goal has New England in front. I'll recap the opening 45 right after this. Welcome into the halftime report, everybody. The New England Revolution leading Toronto FC 1-0 at the break. Tajon Buchanan's goal is the difference between the two sides, as we're just past the midway mark of the regular season in MLS. And considering how that first half played out, it's honestly a scoreline that the Revs will be pretty happy about, because Toronto did have most of the possession in those opening 45 minutes, and New England didn't create all that many chances. In fact, the only time Bono was really tested was on that Buchanan effort that found the back of the net. Of course, Matt Turner's been brilliant this season, an 8-2-4 record, a 1.14 goals against average, 4 shutouts. He was brilliant in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. And here's what he had to say regarding that memorable Gold Cup.
But that's the way you want to do it. When you're, a U.S. soccer player, you want to play Mexico in the final. You want to have the opportunity to sort of stamp your name in the history books in that way. So to do it just felt amazing, and I'm excited to be able to tell my children in the future that that's how it was done.
We hit it very well early on. You were laughing. What was that exchange like with the player as you made the great save? You were laughing.
Yeah, well, I was laughing because he was laughing at me, because I had a great game, the game 4, and then to make a save like that early on to keep us in it. It also made me realize that as much as people put U.S. and Mexico against each other, at the end of the day, we're both just out there competing, trying to bring pride to our countries, and it was a nice moment of respect.
All right, so some cool words there from Matt Turner. After the break, when the halftime report continues, I will recap the first half that was and look ahead to the second half of action. Do I know Dan Brown? I can't say I do, Mike. No. That name does not ring a bell. Nope. I'll be back after a quick break, everybody. It's the Revolution in front by 1-0. Welcome back into the halftime report. Oh, okay, Mike. He wrote the Da Vinci Code. Got it. Got it. Cool. Well, there you go. You taught me something that I did not know. Looking back on that first half, as I mentioned, it was actually Toronto with most of the ball, but it's the Revolution in front on the scoreboard as they look to stay atop the Eastern Conference in comfortable fashion. And it was Tajon Buchanan's header that found the back of the net 20 minutes in. Going over some of those first half highlights, it was on that Revolution goal, in the lead up to the goal, I should say. The Revolution didn't really pose too much of a threat. In fact, Toronto had a great chance. Chara with a shot to the near post, which was saved by Turner. It turned out to be offside, but it was Toronto posing more of the threat. However, then it would be DeJuan Jones with a beautiful cross into Buchanan, and his header parried off the post and in by Bono. He just couldn't keep it out. Buchanan with the backflip celebration, and the Revolution with the lead. After that, however, Toronto would not shy away from chances at the other end. There were some half-hearted shouts for a handball, nothing called. Revolution did outshoot Toronto slightly, 4-3 in that opening half, and shots on target, 1-0. That's it. 4 corners for the Revs, 3 for Toronto. 6-2, the fouls in favor of the Revs. No bookings, and the possession, as mentioned, in favor of Toronto, 61 to 39%. And the most important stat writes Toronto 0, New England 1 on the scoreboard. However, still a whole nother half to go. After the break, it's back to Toronto at BMO Field. The final 45 on the way next. Welcome back. The stage is set for the start of the second half. Michael asks, who is the team that I think will break Mexico's CCL win streak? That is a tough question to answer, Mike, because I don't even know when that streak of Mexican teams winning CCL will end. Never mind what team. Yeah, I don't really have an answer because we don't even know what MLS teams will be in CCL next year, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. I think sooner rather than later, an MLS team will finally win CONCACAF Champions League. I have no idea what team it will be, though. It's too hard to tell. It's basically a coin flip because we're talking about, a year, 2, 3 years from now, depending on when that streak eventually comes to an end. So a tough one to answer, but as long as an MLS team, I don't care who it is, finally wins it, I'll be pleased. I'll be pleased. So we're ready to go. Start of the second half in Toronto. 1-0 New England lead it. And it'll be Toronto kicking off there, wearing their red kits, attacking from left to right this half. New England attacking from right to left in their white kits, blue shorts. Looks like no halftime substitutions made by either manager, Javier Perez or Bruce Arena. And off we go. Second half is here. Gonzalez across the back for Zabaleta. This game in Toronto, Ontario. As mentioned earlier, the first trip to Canada for the U.S. since right before the pandemic when they visited Montreal in March of 2020. New England goal came from Buchanan, 19th minute officially, they're saying. We'll see if anything changes here in the second half. The New England Revolution this season, a 7-0-1 record when leading at halftime. That's wins, losses, draws, by the way, in that order. The Revs this season, 36 goals scored, first in MLS. The goal scoring productivity has been there game in, game out for New England over the course of the season. And just then, it was a bit of an awkward collision between Zavaleta and Priso, the two teammates colliding. Buchanan was fouled hard. The referee plays advantage. Now a bouncing ball headed wide by Tristofson. DeJuan Jones back into the middle with Maciel. Buxa for Bo. He'll get it back from Jones. Bo holding. Now clipping it towards the head of Buxa. Buxa knocked off balance, but no foul called in the box. And now Toronto take it the other way. Buchanan has just got back to his feet, clearly shaken up after that earlier foul, and now play is halted, and the yellow card for that foul on Buchanan by, I believe, that was Marco Delgado, will warrant a yellow card. So Delgado is the recipient of the first yellow tonight. And I don't think he can really complain much there. That's a yellow card any day, any league. Buchanan appears to be okay, which is good to see. He's now talking with the referee. Buchanan's not happy at all at the moment. And things getting a bit chippy at the start of the second half here. Rubiel Vasquez is tonight's referee, trying to take control of the situation. So 3 minutes played in the second half, and the intensity of this game already picking up. There's some pressure by Brandon By. Soteldo escapes, but now it's taken away from Priso. A lead pass, chased down by Tristofson. He won't quite get there. Richie Larea got on his horse, and now a bit of a gamble from Bono. as he dribbled by the oncoming Buxa, showing off his footwork ability. And that will be a whistle against Tajon Buchanan. Free kick for TFC. It's quickly taken by Toronto. They're trying to play at a high tempo here. The pass from Soteldo to Achara was broken up. That's awesome, Mike. That's awesome, man. Yeah, sports is definitely my primary interest, as I'm sure all of you guys who tune into my broadcast can tell. I want to pursue a sports broadcasting career. I love sports. I have all my life, but I am interested in some other stuff. I'm interested in, I like, well, I'll put it this way. I like, well, my favorite subject in school is math. I don't, as this ball is settled by Achara and now won back by Jones. So I guess you could say I like math, because I'm pretty good at it and I enjoy it in school, as this is space opening up for Tajon Buchanan. Buchanan still going, now going for the chip, and it's sent over the bar. Bo is asking for the ball, but Buchanan took it on himself. So yeah, I'm interested in math. I like math. It's one of my strong suits when it comes to school. I like history. I like learning about history, whether that be U.S. history or world history. Here's a chance now for Osorio. His shot might have struck the arm of Jones. There were some shouts for a handball, nothing called, and the U.S. will try to break free the other way. I also like geography. I love geography. I used to know like the capital of every country in the world back in middle school. I can't say that I do anymore. I do know the capital of every state in the U.S. So I love geography. I love going places too. Unfortunately, I haven't been too many places outside of the U.S. I've been to plenty of great cities across the United States. I've also been to Portugal, where my dad's from. But I want to travel to a lot more countries across Europe. I'd love to go to, Africa. I'd love to take a visit to Algeria, Mike. I'd love to visit Asia. You name it. Australia looks very nice. So yeah, I'm very much into geography as well. I can't say I'm too interested in politics, just because at least here in the US, people, when they debate politics, it gets ridiculous. It gets personal, and it's just I don't like to take a side when it comes to politics. I'm not too interested in it, to be honest with you. I read some books. I don't read as much as I probably should, to be honest with you. Yeah. I never really got into video games, in all honesty. A lot of my friends love video games. My brother plays some video games. It never really interested me, in all honesty. And we got an injured Revolution player. I believe that is Polster. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, it is Polster. And this is, it's a non-contact injury. And yeah, that's an ugly landing on his ankle. Oh no, that is awful. That does not look good at all. Polster with just the worst of landings on his left ankle, and those non-contact injuries can sometimes be the worst. You love geography and flags too? Yeah, absolutely, Mike. I love that stuff. I love that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully, ID. Yeah, I've never even been to Canada. I almost went to Montreal a few years ago for the Women's World Cup, a semifinal game between the U.S. and Germany, but some last-second event popped up for my dad, and he couldn't bring me. It's like a 6-hour drive to Montreal from where I live. No, I don't, Mike. I don't play any video games. Yeah, I don't really have interest in video games, to be honest with you. As I said, a lot of my friends love that type of stuff. Love video games, but it's just not my thing. And Polster will gingerly walk over to the sideline. He'll need to be careful because just looking at the replay, I'd be surprised if he continues because that looked ugly. It's unfortunate. He took a leap in the air to win a header, and it was just an awkward landing where his ankle turned the wrong way. And he's clearly in some distress. You can tell he wants to carry on, but there's no way he'll be able to. And yep, there's the substitution. Polster forced off. It'll be a veteran, Tommy McNamara, coming on. McNamara started the game last week against Philly. That's the first substitution used by either team. Remember, there's 5 substitutions available for both sides. 55th minute of play, 1-0, Revs in front. Here's Soteldo. Soteldo still going. The pass cut out by McNamara. Now Maciel settles. That's knocked out of play by Marco Delgado. Brennan Bide takes the New England throw-in up the line. It's Buxa finding Buchanan. Settled by Zavaleta of Toronto. A near steal by Buchanan, but Toronto have it back, and now it's Delgado. Or rather, Osorio. Osorio finding Achara. Achara for Pozuelo. It's kept by Toronto. And now the attempted cross blocked by Brandon Bye. It will be a corner kick won by Soteldo. Toronto certainly on the verge of an equalizer. It feels like, anyways. Pretty decent crowd in Toronto tonight. And it's a decent service. Kessler wins the header. He got there before Omar Gonzalez could. Now it's knocked out of play for a TFC throw-in. Marco Delgado takes. Here's Larea. Now back to Zavaleta. Soteldo on the left wing. Closed down by Brandon Bye. Toronto keep it. Priso gets the ball now, and it's a good step by McNamara. New England have it. Wide it comes. DeJuan Jones with pace attacks the open space down the left side. Step over move. Jones, who had the assist on the goal in the first half, finds McNamara in the middle. Tristevson to the right wing. Bye floats in the cross. It now falls to Buchanan. And he completely mishits that shot. It now falls to Bo. The Revs can't slice through the Toronto defense, and now Toronto can break free. That pass just ahead of Achara, and Farrell sends it wide for Jones. You have a map in your room? Okay, Mike. It doesn't include Israel. Interesting. Wow, you don't think there's a map in the Arab world that includes Israel? That's very interesting. Yeah. No, I can't say this with 100% certainty, but pretty sure most maps in the U.S. include Israel. Even the globe I got here, Israel is included. Yep. So, yeah, that's certainly interesting. Obviously, Israel have been a hot topic, certainly as of late. Yes, ID. Western teams do play Eastern Conference teams. Yep. There are there's not a ton of intra-conference play, ID. In fact, there was none last year because of the pandemic, but this year they returned to the normal schedule. So yeah, I can't remember how many intra-conference games each team has to be exact, but yeah, there are a few games where teams from the East play teams from the West in the regular season. Here's Larea crossing in, and the shot goes right at Turner. A missed opportunity for Marco Delgado. And Toronto will be wondering how they haven't scored. But yeah, then of course in the playoffs, an Eastern Conference team can't play a Western Conference team until the MLS Cup Finals. So you have the Eastern Conference playoffs, the Western Conference playoffs, and then the winner of each conference faces off for MLS Cup. Yep. Okay, very interesting, Mike. Very interesting. I like the little nuggets you're throwing, and I'm learning different things that I was not aware of before. We are approaching the hour mark. Toronto 0, New England 1, but it's Toronto very much alive in this match. With it is Alejandro Pozuelo. Now he connects with Osorio. Thank you, Jackie, for tuning in. Yeah, that's a good question. Do I think the Revs will sell anyone this summer? Well, you know, I don't think so. I don't think so, Jackie. Obviously we're kind of approaching the end of summer at this point. So you don't see teams selling. Well, you do sometimes in the middle of the season in summer, but obviously MLS is on a whole different calendar than European leagues, so it's a bit interesting when transfers take place. But I think at the end of the season, yes, we could see some players sold. I think Matt Turner is on the verge of making a move to Europe. I do. Same for Tajon Buchanan. I know Buchanan has been linked to some European clubs, as this free kick will land right into the hands of Turner. Disappointed look on the face of Jefferson Soteldo, the Venezuelan. Half an hour remains. But yeah, Jackie, I think this is obviously a really good Revolution team, so I think they'll try to keep as many of these players as they can. But obviously, with the way Turner's been playing this season and at the Gold Cup, and Buchanan as well, I think those two, there's a good chance they'll be off to Europe sooner rather than later. And obviously, if you're the Revolution, you'll take that. You'll take the money that comes with those transfers, as a foul is called here, and it'll go against Bai, but he's actually the one injured on the play. The yellow card is going to be shown once he gets up. Let's see here. Yeah, there's the foul, and it looked like after Bai committed the foul, he just got his right foot caught, or no, his left foot. Oh yeah, he rolled his left ankle. That looked painful. So a bit of an unfortunate sequence there for Brandon Bai, and he's the first Revolution player to be booked tonight. He's back to his feet, but clearly doesn't seem all that comfortable. He tries to carry on, but who knows how much longer he'll be able to do that by the looks of it. Jefferson Soteldo on July 7th at New England had a goal and an assist. And it's a good position here for him to go for goal. It's interesting because it is within his range, but then again, crossing one in, trying to find a teammate would certainly be an option. Instead, he plays it short. It comes back to Soteldo, and the effort goes over the bar. Well, a bit of trickery there by Toronto off the set piece, as Soteldo went short to Pozuelo, and then Pozuelo laying it back to Soteldo. Couldn't quite find the target in the end. Soteldo's been animated all night long. He's hungry for a goal. Here come the Revs at the other end. Buchanan on the right side, attacking the defender Zavaleta. McNamara returns for Buchanan. Buchanan crosses. And Larea with an uncomfortable touch. It's eventually sent away. Achara's header out for a New England throw-in. Appreciate everyone who's been a part of tonight's broadcast. It's been a good game so far. You wouldn't know that the Revs are Toronto are bottom of the East, I should say, by the way they're playing against the top team in the league in New England. It's out for another Revs throw. DeJuan Jones will take it. 65th minute of play. Jones down the line for Buxa. Now DeJuan Jones again. Osorio trying to win it. And the touch went out of play for Maciel. Richie Larea taking the throw-in. Let's get you updated around the league. It's a busy weekend of MLS action. Last night, San Jose and Vancouver played to a 0-0 draw. Earlier today, the LA Galaxy defeated Minnesota 1-0. The Red Bulls lead Montreal 1-0 at the half. New York City leading Miami 2-0 in the 62nd minute. Sporting KC have a 1-0 lead over Dallas at halftime. Also at the half, Houston are tied with Colorado at 1-1. Real Salt Lake will take on Austin at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow at 4, it's Atlanta against LAFC. At 6 p.m., Chicago takes on Columbus. At 7, Nashville takes on DC United. And then in the matchup of the weekend, 10 p.m. tomorrow night, Portland and Seattle square off, arguably the biggest rivalry in MLS. That rivalry always delivers fireworks. Should be a good one between the Portland Timbers and the Seattle Sounders. Welcome in, Kathleen. Appreciate you tuning in. Well, I definitely appreciate those kind words. Thanks for checking in. Much appreciated as always. Tajon Buchanan, the goal scorer for the Revs in the Gold Cup for Canada, won the Best Young Player Award, had a goal and 5 assists. His goal in that tournament came against Mexico in the semifinals. And here come Toronto. That pass went off the back heel of Gonzalez, I believe. And now Bo could be in for the Revs. Bo with a chance. He's still on his feet. And a save made as Bono closed him down. Second chance cleared off the line. And now sent away. What a chance as the chance was saved off the line. Cleared off the line, I should say, by Ralph Priso, the Canadian. Wow, Gustavo Bo with an unbelievable chance for the Revs. Unbelievable chances, I should say. How did this opportunity come about? Well, it looked like Bo was a half step offside in the first place, but the play continued. Bo stayed upright as the pressure came from Priso. Bono closed down the angle, made the stop, and on the second opportunity, Bo's shot was cleared off the line. Priso in the right place to save the day for Toronto. Could have easily been a second for the Revolution. And Priso immediately went down after making that goal line clearance for Toronto. And he's still on the ground as the athletic trainers attend to the injured Toronto player, Ralph Priso. We're 3 quarters through the match, and it's been a fun one, a great game between the best and worst team in the East. The Revolution leading Toronto 1-0. The Toronto FC, I should say, yet to make a substitution, but by the looks of it, I'm not sure if Priso will be able to continue. It looks like a real serious injury. He's not putting any weight or he's putting some weight, but not much on that right leg of his. So he limps off, and he's clearly in quite a bit of agony. There's no way he'll manage to carry on. We'll see who the replacement for Priso is, and the answer is Patrick Mullins, former Revolution player years ago. It actually looks like Mullins will be coming on for Achara, and Bradley will replace Priso. Yes, that is the case. So a double change here from Toronto. The youngster Funanyachi Achara of Nigeria coming off, and a big cheer from the crowd as Michael Bradley enters, the longtime captain of this club. A rare appearance off the bench, usually, of course, a starter for Toronto. Loretta as well to keep it in. The cross had too much pace, and it's all the way through and out for a goal kick. And yeah, Priso limps off to the locker room. You hate to see that from the young Toronto FC player. There are 4 Canadian teams in MLS, Mike. Am I crazy, or am I completely blanking out on the 4th team? We have Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and is there a 4th Canadian team? I think there's 3, Mike. I'm pretty sure there's 3. But yeah, you are correct. Now Canada does have a football league. Yep, they do. Do I think they should leave MLS and join the Canadian League? No, because Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, the teams in MLS from Canada, I think they just dominate that league, in all honesty. I have watched a little bit of the Canadian League. They show games here in the U.S. on Fox Sports 2. I have checked it out, and the quality's all right, but they do have the Canadian Cup, and the MLS teams from Canada always win the Canadian Cup, and they usually don't have much competition from those teams in the Canadian League. So I think I don't think the Canadian teams in MLS should go to the Canadian Soccer League. I don't, just because Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, they've been in MLS for a while now, and there's no reason to take them out. I mean, there's no reason to do that, in my opinion. And Toronto, for example, have won MLS Cup, so it wouldn't benefit those clubs either, because they would, in my opinion, dominate that league. And I think the Canadian League right now has pretty good competition, and there's some decent teams, but not on the level of the likes of Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. We have a free kick here for the United States. And, here in the United States, there are Canadian teams in quote-unquote American leagues. There's 7 Canadian teams in the NHL, although, hockey is, of course, huge in Canada. There's one NBA team from Canada, the Toronto Raptors. Toronto Blue Jays are the one Canadian team in MLB. So it's a bit weird how there are, some Canadian teams in the predominantly American league, but it's not unprecedented. We see that in other American sports, American leagues as well. Adam Buksa had the chance, and he sent that one over the bar with the left foot. Here is Michael Bradley for Toronto. Bradley forward to Soteldo, and his pass through ball pass, I should say, was too heavily weighted for Patrick Mullins to get there. Instead, it's Matt Turner with it. 17 minutes left until second half stoppage time. The Revolution in front 1-0. And Turner will punt this one. Buksa wins the header. Now settled by Tristofson. He's still going. chops one away from Michael Bradley. Now Tajon Buchanan. He finds Maciel. Maciel opens up and goes out wide with Tommy McNamara. McNamara, great switch to Buchanan. He settles. Buchanan defended by fellow Canadian Osorio. And Osorio does well to win it back. And now it comes wide for Soteldo. Toronto on the run. Soteldo into the 18-yard box. Cuts it onto his right. And the attempted cross blocked by Brandon By. It's kept alive by Soteldo, but now cleared away. And that ball did go out. It will be a Revs throw-in. Yeah, that was a pathetic performance, really, from Arsenal against Brentford yesterday. Yeah, the Whitecaps did draw. Yep, they did. That's right. You're from Vancouver, right? That's right. I remember you saying that. I'm pretty sure. As the Revolution will make a couple of more changes, Teal Bunbury will come on for Tristevson with a quarter of an hour left. Yeah, that's right, Mike. Yep. If Toronto had won the CONCACAF Champions League, it would count for Canada. Yep. Or actually, this will be the only change. So Bunbury on for Tristevson. So we'll see what type of impact he can make in the final 15 minutes of play. With it for Toronto FC is Richie Larea. The header won by DeJuan Jones. He's been solid the last few games, really. Now up the line. Bunbury gets a touch and wins a throw-in. Teal Bunbury, in his career against Toronto, 3 goals and 1 assist in 15 games. It's not too shabby. Jones battling, and it last went off of Osorio. Another Revs throw-in. Jones quickly takes. Bo finding Buxa. Bradley comes sweeping in to take it away. Yes, Kathleen. Yep, I went to last Sunday's game against Philadelphia, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I hadn't gone to a game since May because of a number of reasons. Some bad weather for some games where I decided not to go, and then I was on vacation during one of the games, doing college visits, and etc. So I hadn't gone to a game in a while. Hoping to go to a few more before I start up school again in a couple of weeks. Hopefully I can go to Wednesday's game with a couple of friends taking on DC United on Wednesday at Gillette. Yeah, it's always a fun time, especially when the Revs are good, especially when they're playing well, because I've been to games in seasons past where they've just not been good. You can go back to, just 3-4 seasons ago when they were abysmal and it was tough to watch them. And yeah, so the next Revolution game will be back home against DC United. That's 7 p.m. on Wednesday. I won't be on the call for that game because I'll likely be at that game. But I will take some videos and I could perhaps upload it here to the channel as Soteldo finds Bradley. Here is Richie Larea. Kessler defending Osorio. Osorio trying to turn the corner. Bunbury helping out defensively. Now it finds Larea. Larea still with the ball. Bradley on his left foot. Sends it across for Soteldo. Soteldo forward. Now it's cut back. All right, idea by Kamar Lawrence, but New England able to clear. It's back with Omar Gonzalez. Yes, that's correct, Mike. My dad's from Portugal, and here come Toronto. Deflected pass. It will be a corner for the home side. Yes, I have heard of the city, Fatima. Yes. Yep. It's a pretty small town. But yeah, I have heard of it. Yes, as Soteldo lays it back and it's put in, redirected in front by Osorio, and the Canadian international pulls Toronto FC level. 1-1 the score, and with 11 minutes left, it was only a matter of time before that goal came for Toronto. Javier Perez pleased, and this game is on level terms. Yep, the Revs just too late to react here. No one marking Osorio inside the 6-yard box, and it was a driven ball. I think Pozuelo was looking for the pass to the back post, and that's exactly what it turned into. Osorio with a rather easy finish. The Revs just took a defensive lapse there, and we're all level. And BMO Field has absolutely come alive. And here comes Toronto looking for the lead for the first time tonight, I should say. That slicing effort ends up wide from Osorio. Yeah, Kathleen, Bruce Arena's a great coach. I mean, he's obviously a legendary coach in MLS. Throughout his whole career, he's been fantastic in MLS. The only time he didn't do well was in the second stint with the U.S. men's national team, when, of course, they infamously lost to Trinidad and failed to qualify for the World Cup. By the way, the Revs in the 75th minute or later have scored 9 goals. That's tied for the most in MLS, so they do tend to score late. We'll see if the Revs can do that again tonight and reclaim the lead. Should be a fascinating ending to this match. There's McNamara. Bradley nearly able to come away with the steal. Buchanan turns, now has space down the right flank. Buchanan lofts one across the field. Now Bunbury to Bow. It's through to Buxa. Buxa grabbed down and a point to the spot. Penalty kick for New England. What about that? Moments after Toronto equalized, it'll be a penalty kick coming for the Revolution. It'll be the second game in a row that the Revolution have a penalty kick. Buxa held back and brought down by Eric Zavaleta. I don't really think Toronto can complain that much. Zavaleta clearly grabbing the waist of Buxa and holding him back. It's quite obvious, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Revolution fan. But looking back at multiple replays, clearly Buxa's had his shirt held back. That's just a silly foul to commit there by Zavaleta in the penalty area. No, very good, Mike. Very good. And so here we go. Gustavo Bow to step up for New England. He scores! Gustavo Bow, La Pantera, finds the back of the net. The Argentine blisters one home into the left corner. It's 2-1 New England, and the Revolution are back in front. Well, that is a huge blow to Toronto. The Revs, I suppose you could say, make their own luck here. They kind of walked into this penalty kick, but took full advantage. Bow, with just too much pace on the strike. It wasn't necessarily the most accurate penalty, but there was enough height and pace on it as Bono guessed the right way, but could not get there. It's 2-1 New England, and Bow, after missing his first penalty kick of the season last week, albeit he followed up on the rebound and scores his first penalty of the season here on a second attempt. That's 12 goals for Bow on the season. He leads MLS in goals scored. And the Argentine has been having a superb season. The Revs back in front. And now how did Toronto respond? Are there more twists and turns to come? Bo, of course, the designated penalty kicker temporarily while Carlos Gil is out injured. Carlos Gil, the usual penalty kick taker for the Revs. But with him out, Bo's the one who stepped up. And boy, did he deliver moments ago. This game is far from over. 6 minutes plus stoppage time, and Toronto FC are not going away. This is wide for Soteldo. Soteldo on his right. Now dancing on the ball. He gets it to Larea. Mullins for Michael Bradley. Osorio on the right wing. He has the goal for Toronto. 85th minute. This one coming down to the wire. Bradley. Now Delgado. Turning. Finding Osorio. Toronto with plenty of possession. The Revs very disciplined behind the ball. Wide it comes. Pozuelo. The low-driven ball. DeJuan Jones got a touch. And Matt Turner claims the ball with 5 minutes left until we reach second half stoppage time. This is a high punt, too high for even the camera to locate by Matt Turner. It's one in the midfield by Toronto. Pozuelo played it behind Osorio. They weren't on the same page there. Shielded out by Larea. Quick throw and taken. Toronto working quickly. They know some urgency is needed here. That's a Revolution throw-in. Another substitution coming. It will be actually a double change, I believe, by Bruce Arena. It will be. So Wilfred Kaptoum comes on for Maciel. Meanwhile, it's De La Garza coming in for Buchanan. Buchanan scored the opening goal for New England. A young player with a bright future ahead. And his night has come to a close. Just short of the full 90 minutes. As I mentioned, De La Garza into the match. The Revolution have now used up all 5 substitutions. Toronto still have 3 more available to them. '87th minute of play. Omar Gonzalez. Michael Bradley looking to combine with Pozuelo. It's one back by New England. Buxa lofts one ahead into the path of McNamara. McNamara holds. De La Garza to Kaptoum. Reminder, next up for the Revs is DC United back home at Gillette Stadium. That's Wednesday night at 7 p.m. De La Garza taking it towards the corner flag. It will be a Toronto throw-in. Can Toronto level the score again? Mullins able to keep the ball. Now it's Pozuelo into Larea. Larea finding space in the middle of the park. Larea still going. Trying to play through Osorio. Osorio has it. Cuts it across. And Kessler's there for the Revolution. Sending it away as they survive a quick scare, the Revs do. Two minutes now till the 90-minute mark is reached. Soteldo, and now from distance, Pozuelo going for goal, but a comfortable stop Matt Turner holding on. More and more precious time for Toronto coming off the clock. I anticipate there will be quite a bit of stoppage time. What's going on, Ben? Welcome in. Thanks so much for tuning in. Yeah, I know, man. The Revs keep getting it done. They really do. It's been fantastic thus far this season. Still a long way to go. We're just past the midway mark of the regular season, so I don't want to get my hopes up too high. But yes, as long as they keep getting the results, I'm definitely pleased. They've been fantastic. Here's Soteldo. And that's one back by Gustavo Bo. Bo with a long ball forward. Buksa on the run. He's going to get there. It's kept in play, and he'll win a throw. Exactly, Mike. Yes, exactly. New England Revolution are my local team. That's why I support them. I live 10 minutes from the stadium. I'm a Boston sports fan all around for every sport. I grew up here in New England, here in Massachusetts. So yeah, I'm a Boston sports fan for everything. New England Revolution, New England Patriots, Boston Red Sox, Boston Bruins, and Boston Celtics, Boston Bruins, Boston Red Sox, New England Revolution, New England Patriots. So, yep, Boston sports fan all around. Yeah, Ben, not only the best team in the East, but the best team in the league right now, if you look at the point total. But yeah, they're looking fantastic, and they're in cruise control of the Eastern Conference right now. By the way, there's 7 minutes being added on, so no 3 points guaranteed yet for the Revs. There's still a chance for Toronto. Accelerating to the end line is Soteldo, and the cross floated in, claimed out of the air by Matt Turner. (2-1) Revs lead, about 6 minutes left here. The Revs, by the way, have a 10-2-0 record in 1-goal games. That leads the league, first in MLS. And yeah, just thinking back on the season so far, the Revs have had a few big wins, but a lot of their games have been very close, and they've been on the winning end of just about every one of those close games. And another cross dealt with by Matt Turner. He'll roll it ahead for Wilfred Kaptoum. Here's Brandon By. By lofts one ahead, but no one from the Revs is going to get there. It's quickly rolled out by Bono. Here's Michael Bradley. Bradley taking his time. Omar Gonzalez, Osorio finding Larea, back to Osorio. He cuts inside, but there to take it away was Kaptoum. Now Jones lifts it forward with the left foot. Buksa unable to settle. 93rd minute of play. The Revs clinging on to a 1-goal lead late on at BMO Field in Toronto. Now Pozuelo trying to get through. By got a touch. Bunbury clears. Buksa settles nicely. And now Bunbury into the middle. Kaptoum, plenty of space. Kaptoum, gorgeous ball forward towards the corner flag. Buksa will hold, waiting for support. Back to Kaptoum. Kaptoum going with his eyes on goal here. And now Bo back to Kaptoum. Kaptoum going to have a crack at it. The shot was blocked by Mullins. How is Bradley playing these days? Yeah, Ben. I mean, he's obviously been around for a long time. Yeah, he's still the captain of Toronto. He usually starts. He actually didn't start today, interestingly enough. He came off the bench. I think he's well past his prime, obviously. Um, I think he'll retire soon. I do. But yeah, he's still around. He's still around. Out of the picture at this point, I'd have to think, for the U.S. men's national team, but still the leader of Toronto. As De Leon comes into the match late for Toronto. Jonathan Osorio making way. We now have about 3 minutes remaining. Good combining there, and Soteldo going for the shot, but Turner with the save. The accuracy just not there from Soteldo. And more time to waste for New England. Buksa brought down, and it is a foul. The call against Zavaleta, who actually brought down Buksa in the box, which led to the penalty kick and perhaps the game-winning goal. No, I don't think so, Ben. I don't think he's a top 5 all-time USA player. I wouldn't say so. You know, he was a very good player. I think he was overrated, though. I do. I never really got why he was hyped so much. I mean, he was a good player. I'm not taking that away from him. He was a very good player. Scored some big goals for the U.S. men's national team. But I don't know. I felt like he was hyped up too much a lot of the time, even during his prime. That's just my opinion. You can call me a Michael Bradley hater. I just think he sometimes makes poor decisions. You agree, Kathleen? All right. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I just always felt like he was overrated for some reason. Yes, he was the captain of the U.S. and all, but he wasn't like a top tier player, and everyone treated him like that. I guess it's how other people rated him. I think people set the bar too high, to be honest with you. 1 minute left. Here's Soteldo on the ball. Soteldo cutting back on Brandon By. Soteldo still dancing on the ball. He wants it on his left, gets it on his left, but the cross floated over the bar. Did it take a deflection? I don't think so. I believe it's a goal kick. Yeah, exactly, Kathleen. His dad, yeah. His dad was a big reason why Michael Bradley, got so much hype. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Bob Bradley is a huge reason why his son was always, hyped up so much. Well, that's fine. This is actually my basement, Mike. So my room isn't as cool as this, but I appreciate it, man. And that is it. The unbeaten streak for the Revolution continues. In fact, the winning streak continues, to be precise. And the Revolution all season long have found ways to win. It wasn't the most prettiest of performances, but they get the job done again. 2-1 the final score. The New England Revolution defeat Toronto FC. 2-1 the final score. Gustavo Bo's penalty kick conversion turns out to be the game winner for the Revs, and their fantastic season continues, and the Revs will head back home with their great run of form carrying on. Good night, Kathleen, and good night, all of you who tuned in. Much appreciated. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, for FC Barcelona against Real Sociedad. Can't wait for that one. It's the first competitive match for Barcelona in the post-Messi era, of course. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to covering plenty of European League action as, of course, a lot of the leagues got underway this weekend. The Revolution win 2-1 the final. They beat Toronto FC. So long, everybody. And yeah, Mike, I'll be back tomorrow for Barcelona Sociedad at 2 Eastern time. See you guys next time. Revolution, win again.